prime time on Nick was huge. I mean, I think that people who hated him now like him more, or, you know, whatever it is. I think it was a little easier. I mean, it helped to kind of figure him out a little bit.
Those answers to his questions to the fans, you know, where they were like, that's what it means. You know, and it really, do you think that kind of resonates with people in an odd sort of way because it's like so bizarre that, you know?
But you know what? Any of the guys who come from the boxing world, you meet guys like that sometimes. He's made it very clear. He's not here to hang out and make any friends. He's not looking to, you know, have any barbecues over at his house with anybody from the MMA world. He's here to fight. That's it. It's pretty. I'm cool with that. You know, it's just you got to show up at press conferences and do the stuff. And now he's doing all the stuff that needs to be done. So I'm cool with it.
Were there any concerns or nerves at all coming in that wasn't going to happen, or did the BJ Penn fight kind of?
It's been, you know, well, wait till you see the last episode of Prime Time. I mean, it's there's no doubt that as the week of the fight comes, he changes. And he becomes the Nick Diaz that we're used to seeing. What? Yeah, I get him. I always got him. I always understood how he was or whatever, but you can't not come to press conferences.
Speaking of not going to press conferences, why did you go last week?
Which one?
Post-fight show.
Yeah, I wasn't in the mood.
So let's hear about it.
I can not go if I don't want.
So
I'm kidding. Dude, I've been to 10 years. I haven't missed one fight, and I usually try to skip press conferences where I know I'm gonna
get hammered.
Yeah, get hammered. Not get hammered, but
it's your first
by the media.
Your first official fight show. You know, your thoughts were important on how that show went and where guys were going.
Yeah, I know.
Can we hear him now?
Yeah. It meant what it meant.
Are you sunburned right now? You've been on a vacation?
No, it's sunny out the last 2 days. I'm white as hell.
Hey, do you miss GSP at all in terms of ticket sales and what he does for bringing fans into the seats?
Yeah, well, you know, GSP is a monster, man. I say it all the time. He's the pay-per-view king of this sport, and it hurts without him. But this is what we do. We, you know, guys like Ronda and Gia. Nobody knew GSP at one time either. You know, you have to build guys.
Yeah, not to belabor the UFC on Fox stuff, but I mean, were you just disappointed overall with the things? I mean, we've seen ratings now that were down a little, but pretty good for the time slot.
Ratings are awesome. The ratings. I'm happy with the ratings. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
So you said last week, by the way, before the fight, that Diaz and Miller would not be the main event. Now we're not the main event. What changed?
Yeah, because Joe Silva and I got together, and as we started to build the card, we changed our mind on what we wanted to do. We did make that the main event. Have we announced the other two fights yet?
LeVar Johnson and Pat Barry was announced late last night.
It was?
Yeah. I don't think the other one's not.
There's one more coming. Huh?
Announce that?
Yeah, go for it.
It's not done yet.
Can you talk?
Well, these two right here, this fight's got to happen, and then we got to crown the welterweight champion. And then, you know, in the time that this fight happens, and in the time that the actual championship fight happens between the two champions, there's going to be a lot of fallout. I'm sure a lot of things are going to happen between now and then. We'll see what happens. I haven't even thought of that at all. We'll see how that fight goes down and what happens.
Yeah, with Johnson and Barry, obviously that's not two of your biggest stars, but it looks like a fight it's pretty much guaranteed to deliver fireworks. Can you talk about what the theory is?
Well, the funny thing about that is that, you know, the chatter that you get about fights. First of all, there was so much hype for that fight. Sonnen versus Bisping, the Maia fight, and even after it changed, people were like, it's even more exciting now. And then after, everybody's like, oh, they set themselves up for these boring fights. Shut up. People who come out after and say, oh, we knew this, you're a liar. You're a liar, you're an idiot. And you sound like an idiot when you say that. These fights all looked exciting. You just never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen on any given night. You can have, you know, 3 fights go to decisions, or you can put on a fight that you think is going to go longer and it lasts 60 seconds. It's fighting. You know, what we're dealing with now is figuring out the hardest part of this whole thing is figuring out production. How many fights can you schedule with the commercial load that you got and all the other things that you have to do? You know, we got this thing. We did a pretty good job in getting this thing dialed in after that first fight, going 60 seconds, and now figuring out. And I think as this thing evolves, it's going to be more about fighting. You got to understand too. Fox has a system that you used to with sports where it's like you come into the big desk and here we go and we're going to do this and that. What people are used to with the UFC is Goldie and Rogan are on camera for 2 seconds going, here's what's going to happen, we get right into fights. And then you end up getting 40 fights in an hour, you know what I mean? So, okay.
Do you think there's some give and take there? Maybe that'll change a little bit?
What about Maya's performance like this? You know, that was embarrassing. I thought that he gapped out the way he did. Weidman might have had an excuse. Did you talk to Denny with an injury or anything when he was playing why he...
You know, I hear after that he was sick leading up to the fight, but you always hear that stuff after fights. I mean, when guys put on less than stellar performances is when you hear all the stuff about what's going on.
One thing that gets the kids out of you, but a totally different thing that I feel like he did. You know, he was out of shape, and the other guy would have had more of an excuse to beat out than he did.
Right. I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all part of the growing pains of the sport. Let me tell you what, when we started on Spike TV, everybody's acting like every fight we've ever had on Spike TV was the greatest fight you've ever seen in your life. The fight business is you know, we were on that streak has been broken, but we were on that streak that I kept talking about. 14, 15, 16 fights in a row that were just awesome fights. And you're going to have some fights that you're going to turn off the TV and go, wasn't the greatest fight I've ever seen. Would I have turned off the show the other night and said, that sucked? No, it didn't suck. The Bisping Chael Sonnen fight was awesome, you know, and Bisping was a 5-1 underdog, which was ridiculous in the first place. Right.